I have a joke about one of my favorite fictional characters, Dracula. Oh, sorry. Romanian here. Anyway, Dracula wanted to find out which one of his vampires was the best. So he prepares a little contest, and he gets the top 3 of his vampires. And he said, I have a little contest here. Whoever can drink the most blood is going to be the best. And they're going to get an award. Okay? So the first one flies away super fast, comes back after 10 minutes with blood all over his mouth. Then Dracula said, good. How do you do that? I said, well, do you see that tower over there? Yes. Well, around the tower, there is a house. I entered to the house. I drank the blood of all the family members. Good, said Dracula. And he sends the second one, who goes flying even faster than the first one, and comes back after 5 minutes with blood all over his face. Dracula said, awesome. How do you do that? I said, well, you see that tower over there? Around the tower, there is a hotel. I went to the hotel and I drank the blood of all the guests. So it's time for the third one, who flies away even faster than the other 2 and comes back after 1 minute with blood all over his body. And Dracula said, how do you do that? And he said, you see that tower over there? Yes, I didn't see it. So I want to talk to you today about critical listening. Have you ever heard about that concept? Critical listening? Pretty sure Rina did. One of your courses. Yes. Critical listening actually is something that is very important for all of us to develop. Critical listening is, when you want to understand what somebody is telling to you, right? So at the time that you are listening, you're also evaluating every word and analyzing the information being said to you. It's almost like developing some kind of filter when you're listening to somebody else, because we know that not everything that we listen is valid. And eventually, we have to decide what is good information and what is not. Right? This is not much different. I guess we all engage in some kind of critical listening. The perfect example is when we watch, for example, a televised debate before an election, right? And you have all the candidates saying things, and then you're listening and say, yeah, sure. Of course, yeah, sure. Right? Because you're analyzing the information, and you realize that some of the things are true, some are not. Some people go and check. They like to check the facts. In parallel with the debate, I noticed that it's a new trend, but it's a good thing. It's a good thing. That is what what we call critical listening. In other words, being careful of what we get from what is said to us. So then we come to this week's parsha, which is very interesting. The parsha starts with the word re'eh. Anochi noten lifneihem hayom bracha uklala. God said, see, I'm setting before you today blessing and curse. And then it continues, blessing if you listen to God, curse if you don't listen to God. Okay? So within the couple of opening verses of this text, we have 2 interesting concepts. See, re'eh, right? Seeing, and if you listen. So seeing and listening are combined in this first paragraph of this week's Torah portion. And this is something that we have to understand, that they're both equally important. We have to be able to listen, and we have to be able to see in the sense of analyzing what you're listening. You see, listening is usually is the fastest and most effective way to communicate. We want to do something fast, we tell somebody else. And in fact, sound in Judaism is very important. We are going to see this right next week. For Elul, what we do every day, we blow the shofar. Why do we blow the shofar? Because we need the sound sometimes to break the silence. We human beings, we have a very particular skill, which is to block what we see very easily if we don't want to see it. That's why we can close our eyes naturally. It's part of human body, but we cannot close our ear. Of course, you can put something there, but we don't have a natural way to close our ears. That's why in the morning, we don't rely on the light coming through the windows to wake up. Otherwise, nobody will make it to work or to school. We put an alarm clock that produces a sound. So after you wake up, then you can see. But both things are important in our lives. Same way that the rabbi said that at the end of the days, the time of the coming of the Messiah, the prophet Elijah is going to announce the Messiah with a sound. So there is, we can actually, we can't block it. We can listen to it. But even the Talmud said that after that, we still have to analyze if the signs, the coming of the Messiah, are the correct. So both signs and sight are both important. Now, why is this so important? Because sometimes the information that will come to us could be harmful. And not necessarily because it's wrong, but because there are many different things that we have to consider. For example, we have to analyze who said it, right? Who said it? This was very common during the times of the pandemic. When lots of information came our way, we heard so many different things. Hold on a minute. Who said it? Number two, why? Why somebody said that to you? And this is also very important because sometimes people said things to us just for the sake of harm us. Or because they're jealous. Or because they don't like you. So they will tell you something to make you feel bad. But if you exercise critical listening and you know where it's coming from and why that person said that to you, that information cannot affect you. So it's very important to who said it, why it was said, and based on what. Based on what. All those things that they are very important. And this parsha starts with the word re'eh, see, even to the words of God. You see, there is a very interesting concept about the mitzvot, the commandments. The rabbi said that there are basically two different categories of commandments. One is the mishpatim, which are the logical commandments. We all like those. We all like those because we can understand, right? For example, if the Torah said you should not kill, do I have to explain that to you? I hope not. We all understand that it's bad, so we like that. But there are other commandments that the Torah said that they are hukim, that they are illogical, non-rational. We cannot understand them, and we have to fulfill them nevertheless. But the rabbi said that even though we cannot understand it, we still have to try to understand it. We still have to analyze the words of God and to see how those commandments can affect our life and the life of others. Perfect example, going back to the shofar. I love this because Maimonides, when he explains about the shofar, he said, the sound of the shofar is a chok. Chok, singular of hukim. It's an illogical mitzvah. Okay? So basically, he should say, you shouldn't try to understand it because it's illogical. But then he said, nevertheless, I will tell you why we blow the shofar. So even though it's a chok, he still took the time to analyze the mitzvah. And the same way that we analyze the mitzvahs, we have to analyze everything in our lives. Because if we don't take the time to exercise our critical listening, then we can accept things that they are not necessarily the best for us. And the Torah said it very clearly. If you are not careful, then you have in front of you a blessing and a curse. And based of what you understand, and based of what you accept, you can experience that as a blessing or as a curse. So it's interesting that I read about some stories of people who were told things that had the power to finish their careers or to discourage them forever. Did you know this about the actor, the famous actor, Sidney Poitier? You know him? Remember Sidney Poitier? You know that for his first audition, he was told, you should stop wasting people's life. Why don't you become a dishwasher or something? That was what he was told. He could have accepted that. But he exercised critical listening and said, oh, hold on a minute. I'm pretty sure I have some talent. So he tried again. He ended up winning 2 Oscars because he saw, he analyzed, he understood that those words were meant to harm him. The other one that is also, there are many stories like this, but it's also this famous author, Stephen King. You know him? He wrote over 100 books. Some of his books were made movies. But then his first novel was Carrie. You know how many times he was rejected? 30 times. And you know why he kept going? Because his wife told him, you have talent. You have to try again. So again, when you exercise critical listening, then you know who said it and which voice you have to listen. Because if you listen to the right voice, like the Torah said, if you listen to the voice of God, you will experience blessing. If you don't, you will experience a curse. So this parsha is a beautiful reminder that we have to all take our time to develop the skill of critical listening and to apply it to our lives. And only then, no matter what challenges you have in front of you, you can always choose blessing. Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.